Hi guys, welcome back to Holly's Kitchen, and tonight we're having delicious scallops sauteed in a white wine lemon buttery sauce on top of hearts of palm. Who ever heard of that? Well, I'm going to show you how to make noodles out of hearts of palm. So let's get started. So if you haven't heard of hearts of palm, you can find them in a can at your grocery store, and it's in a kind of a juice, a water. And what I like to do is I like to buy a really good hearts of palm that is non-GMO verified. So what I do is I kind of boil the hearts of palm in some salted water just for about 3 to 5 minutes, just to kind of parboil them. And then I throw them into a colander, put some ice cold water or some ice cubes on top. What that does is it stops the cooking process. And I just leave them alone for a little while. So that's my hearts of palm. That's the first thing you're going to want to do with this dish. Then I have my beautiful scallops that I got at my local amazing fish store. And what we're going to do is I'm going to season them with salt and pepper. So let's do that first. I like to season them with salt and pepper first before I do anything with them, because I just think that the fish needs a little bit of tenderizing before you do anything else with them. And then I have a little heap of flour, and we're just going to lightly dust the scallops. So we're just going to roll the scallops, and the scallops are kind of wet already, so it really picks up the flour easily. And you don't need to coat them. You just want to dust it very, very lightly. So I'm going to do this with the scallops. This is a really great dish because it's not real caloric. Typically, most people put scallops on top of pasta. And my husband and I are trying not to eat a whole lot of pasta. So we eat a lot of vegetables and kind of disguise the vegetables to make them look like pasta, which is kind of fun, actually. And I found that hearts of palm is really, because of the color of hearts of palm, it really, really looks like pasta. So I've dusted my scallops, and I'm just going to set them aside. So here is my hearts of palm. Now, typically a hearts of palm looks exactly like a piece of string cheese that you would buy in a little package that you would give a child. And I already peeled these, but what you do is I parboiled them, like I mentioned, and you just peel them just like that. And it looks and acts just like pasta. So I've already done all this prep work. So here are my hearts of palm. And in this dish, I've also prepped, and we have a half a lemon, some fresh Reggiano, some red onions, and some parsley, and a half tablespoon of butter. Okay, you can use butter. I try not to cook a whole lot with butter, but once in a while, I mean, a tablespoon is not a lot of calories, so it really, really, really enhances this dish. And at the end, I also throw in a little white wine. So now we're going to cook our scallops. So I'm going to place a little white wine, a little olive oil. Maybe I've been drinking the wine. I'm going to place a little of the olive oil in my pan. We're going to let it heat up really, really well so that it really gives a sizzle. You can even take like a teaspoon of water, not even a teaspoon, but like take a little piece of water and put it on your oil, and if it sizzles, it's ready. So, but if you cook for a long time, you kind of can see when your oil is ready to add anything to it. So, I'm going to add my scallops, just like that. This is a great dish when you're entertaining because you can do a lot of the prep work before your company actually comes. And I don't mean cooking the scallops. I kind of enjoy when people come over and I'm actually cooking the scallops. It's kind of fun for them to see that you've worked really hard in the kitchen, and but it doesn't look difficult. And that's the key, to not make things look difficult. So as my scallops are sizzling, I'm going to get my little tool. This is the best thing. I love this tool. It's kind of a grabber, and you can easily toss things. So what you want to do is when you're cooking fish, and not just scallops, when you're cooking fish in general, the key to understanding when the temperature is done enough for you to flip it, is to kind of watch it. And as you watch your fish, when you put it on the pan, you can see from the bottom up, from the pan up, you can actually see the temperature rising to the middle, and you can see the fish cooking. So once you see that the color is changing to the middle and it's becoming more of a tannish color, then you flip your scallop over and you cook the next side. And that's a really great kind of a guide to understanding how to cook fish or scallops or any kind of seafood in general. Or even meat, actually. Because when you keep flipping it back and forth, that's when you get a very, very tough meat or fish. So you want to leave it alone. So I'm going to turn this down a bit because it's sizzling quite nicely. And the nice thing about when you're cooking something, or when you're making scallops with flour, a dusting of flour, it gives it a little crust over the entire scallop, and it just makes it so tender, just like when you're cooking meat or pot roast, any of those things. The best thing is to kind of saute it first a little in flour, and what it does is it seals in the juices and it creates a tenderizer. So it's a really, really great thing, and it's not just with fish, it's also with beef. So something to think about. So as we are getting these nice and crispy, they look great. I am going to put a little bit, I'm going to put a teaspoon, it's probably a teaspoon of butter. And I'm just going to stick it right in the pan. And I'm just going to kind of move it around in my pan with my little prongy thing. Just like that. This is such a fun dish, like I said, when you have company, because when you put it in a beautiful dish with lemons, and the smell is amazing, it just kind of, it just makes your whole entire evening a very, very special evening. food, a good bottle of white wine. And I might add that you want to make sure that the wine, I'm going to add a little wine at the end of this dish. You want to make sure that the white wine that you use is very dry and it's a really good wine, because you're not going to use a lot, you're not going to waste it. But if you use a little bit of the white wine in your dish, then you can serve the wine that you've prepared in your dish at your dinner table. And it's kind of a good thing. So we're going to flip these scallops. Wow. The butter and the oil really, really make this dish. And I might add that because you dusted them in flour, what you've done is you've kind of created a little bit of a gravy or a sauce, because the flour cooks down and it makes more of a kind of a sauce to it. Okay. So these are looking really, really good. So now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add my garlic. I'm just going to sparingly kind of run it across. A lot of people, what they do, a lot of professional chefs will put the garlic and the onion first. I like to do it after I've turned my fish. And my feeling is, when I do that, then my garlic and my onions don't become so, or burnt or so caramelized that you don't even taste the garlic and the onions. So I like to do it more towards the end of sauteing. So I'm just going to put it right on top. And I actually like the taste of onion and garlic. So for me, I don't want to do it in the beginning and then put my scallops on top of garlic and onions that have already been sauteed. I like it after. And I also think it's prettier, honestly. So when you turn your scallops over, that's when you're going to put your onion and your garlic on top of it and kind of let it sit for a little while. And then we're going to squeeze half of a lemon right on top. Just like that. Then we have lemon in there. And I have my freshly cut parsley. And we're going to put that on top. And I'm just going to let it sit for a little while and saute. This is actually a really good dish even if you're by yourself to make, because you can only, you can make 5 or 6 scallops for yourself with some hearts of palm and some zucchini. Why not treat yourself? It's really, really, really a great dish and very low in calories. So I'm going to throw my hearts of palm can away while my fish is cooking. Then what I'm going to show you, I'm going to get another frying pan out. And I'm going to stick my hearts of palm right in the frying pan, or saute pan, or a wok, whatever you want to use. Isn't it amazing how these look like actual real noodles? So crazy. Like, why are we ever eating pasta? Pasta's great, but man, it's just hasn't been, from what we found, it hasn't been that great for our health. So I have my zucchini noodles, and my hearts of palm, and I'm just going to kind of mix it on top of each other. Okay, just like that. Look how pretty that is. Love that. And I'm going to saute just for a little bit. I'm going to add a little olive oil. And I'm just going to drizzle a little olive oil onto my noodles. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to take the other half of the lemon that I cut, and I'm going to also drizzle the lemon right on top of my noodles. There we go. And while the scallops are sauteing, I'm just going to take some Reggiano Parmesan and I'm going to grate it. I think I mentioned to you before that I don't like buying processed cheese that is already grated. So for me, I really enjoy the fact that I'm buying really good, healthy food that isn't so processed and in packaging to make things just so much easier for all of us. And you know, sometimes easy isn't always the best thing. Sometimes just taking time and preparing and cooking for your family and letting them wait it's not a bad thing. So why not just, you know, unless it's 9 o'clock at night, you know, let them wait and make something healthy and make them appreciate food. I don't think that our families today really understand, or our children today really understand, that food is not just about filling your stomach, but it's also about sharing stories with our families, coming together at the end of the day and talking and, you know, telling each other good things, bad things, whatever, and just enjoying a really, really good meal. I think that's really important. So here is my fresh Parmesan cheese, and I'm going to start sauteing my noodles, my fake noodles, just for a little bit. So like I said, I have hearts of palm in here, and I also have some zucchini noodles that I made. And I'm just going to saute them a little bit in some olive oil. And then, while they're sauteing with the olive oil and the lemon, I'm going to add one little handful of my fresh grated Parmesan cheese. Wow. My scallops look amazing. So I'm going to turn off the heat. And this is from experience. I've added wine to dishes before, just being very, you know, not understanding cooking and what can happen in a kitchen and the dangers. And I put wine in a dish with the full flame, and it was like saganaki. So you want to make sure that if you're going to add a little wine to something or anything alcoholic, that you kind of tone down the heat and make sure that, you know, you're safe. So I'm going to add a little white wine. I turned down the heat. I'm going to add a little white wine to this dish. And then what you can do is you can turn the heat back on. I don't know. Kind of wiggle it around like that. There's my, ooh, my noodles look great. They're cheesy and lemony, the little olive oil. Really, really good. So as I mentioned to you before, is I really appreciate, even if I'm eating alone or if I'm entertaining, I really appreciate having a dish that is a pretty dish. And so I'm going to fill my dish with my hearts of palm and my zucchini noodles. Look at that. Wow. I mean, those look really, really good. And I'm going to add my scallops with the little bit of butter, some shallots, parsley, lemon, a little butter, garlic, and here's what you have. I'm going to put a little Parmesan cheese on here, and I'm going to show you how beautiful this looks. Wow, won't your guests be impressed, or even your husband or your significant other, whatever. This is a great dish, it's healthy, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time. So, see you next time.